All right. So to start off, to recap what happened last time, you guys had the trial of Card Guy, and you guys were invited in to go over, as the trusted heroes of Otlu they wanted your opinions and thoughts on how you think what the outcome should be. And after discussing, it appears that he was not guilty of the crimes being put on trial for him. But near the end of the trial, Althor's master, Bolivar, came in to see what was going on, and put in a zone of truth around him, where he solidified that his name is actually the Card Guy, and that he works for some organization of which he was not able to speak its name. And so Bolivar ordered that he be sent to Selenia Keep for further questioning. And you guys were tasked with delivering that convoy. And so you guys met with Janzel and Lucico at the front gate the next morning to lead your convoy. You made your way up. You guys went north and then cut around the mountainside. But on your way on camp out one night, you guys were met for the first time with Anya's cat, Oliver. And with some convincing, Oliver ran off. And with some convincing, you got Anya to go and rescue her cat. And so you guys ran into the caves where you were confronted with an intricate dungeon where you almost fought a mimic. And somebody got very hurt by a fire trap. But you were able to make it to the final atrium where you were confronted by a zombie beholder. A shared vision of a drow and a high elf playing in a field. And you all had your own individual sort of visions. And then you awoke, and that is where we begin. With you guys heading back to your camp. And as you are walking back, Callum, you notice that your alarm radius is still active. So you can tell that not too much time has passed during your visions. But they have not been tripped because you can still see Card Guy and Janzel where you left them.
Well, that was quite the side trip.
Yeah, it could have turned out a lot worse than it did.
Let's not take it again.
I'm probably just curious. So are we back at camp then?
Yes.
I'm gonna go ahead and sit down underneath a tree and eat a ration of mine because I'm particularly worn out after that.
Solid plan. You all still do have time to take a long rest after that expedition, before you set off again the next morning.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think unless there's anything else, I'm okay keeping my vision to myself and not saying anything about it. But so
I just find it odd that the cat took off and happened to find a cave with a zombie beholder, and then it looked like some of the energy we saw was released at the end, kind of like after the artifact. So had anyone else noticed that?
I found it odd that it led to a beholder, but I hadn't put too much thought into it afterwards.
Oliver knows the ways of the world.
Would you care to elaborate on what that means?
He just has a way of knowing where I should go next, ever since I first found him, and he has never caused me any harm, and has always led me to somewhere I should be.
Well, he sounds like a well-trusted companion.
Speaking of, oh, hello.
Hi.
Justin?
I just did.
I'm sorry about that, y'all. I was
Oh, we
thinking
just started.
yourself.
We just
You're all
started.
good. Yeah, we just did our recap, and the
Oh.
party is heading back to the camp.
Oh,
Speaking
amazing.
of Miss Anya,
Uh,
you still haven't told us what deity it is you worship. Is this cat a gift from your deity?
Billy, am I allowed to say?
You are allowed to disclose as much information as
Okay.
you would like.
I cannot confirm, but I do believe this cat to be a direct help from my deity.
what deity-
Why they took this form, I have no idea.
And what deity would that be? There's a lot that we still don't know about each other.
I don't know how much Billy wants me to say.
No, do not worry about how much
It's up
I
to
want
you.
you to
It's up to
say.
you.
This is your
Okay.
character. I will not tell
Okay.
you how much you can or cannot say about your own backstory.
You can tell me to buzz off if you want. Like it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
wherever you like. It's your character.
Does Anya
Okay,
want
I'm
to
just
share?
gonna-
Is kind of your position here.
I'm gonna present myself as being a little bit closed once you ask, and I'll just say, time will reveal itself.
I see how it is. There's plenty of other secrets to unravel.
I don't know you.
We don't know each other. I don't know how you came here. We have a fire genasi who, and a turtle, and myself, and you, and we all end up in this strange town, and we really haven't stopped to talk about that at all.
Tell me how you how you came to the strange town, so that we could all meet.
I've told you why I was there. I'm after these artifacts that we've been encountering.
Okay, I was gonna say I don't remember.
I believe you've actually told us a little bit that you are also on some kind of divine mission, and we know why Althor was here. I'd be curious how the rest of our group ended up here.
My deity wishes to find more information about these artifacts that are mysteriously reappearing.
It sounds like you and me might have a shared goal then. What about you, Edwin? What brings you out to Otlumel?
Well, I'm what you would probably call a wanderer. I've traveled a lot of these lands and kind of just gone wherever the road took me, and it led me here, and it led me to you folks, and any help I can give, I'm willing to do.
Right place, right time. And you, Genasi?
I'm just here to help.
Not to be a bother, you guys, and you look over and Janzel is hanging out by the cart. I should have given this to you before we left. And he holds out 5 pouches and he hands one to each of you. He's like, this was your reward for for your last quest. And in it is 15 gold each.
Oh my god.
Nice.
15.
3, 40.
Hell yeah, I'm rich.
Oh,
I'm
God.
richer than I've ever been.
Oh no, math.
Okay, I used the calculator.
I got it.
What is
I got
it? I can do simple arithmetic.
I did it. I can count to 4. How about that?
Well, there's 11 more after that.
Shit.
Wow, Althor, you only have 44 gold pieces? Wow. Can't be me.
I don't need material things such as gold to be
Jesus
satisfied
Christ.
in this world.
Too good.
I find inner satisfaction.
Look, he made a bartender very happy.
Did I get
That
7
is
gold
so what she
pieces?
said.
You probably started with some per your background,
Oh, okay.
because that's a thing.
If you
And
think
knowing
I'm-
what you
I
chose
think
for
I'm
your
poor
background,
now.
yeah.
Just wait.
Well, So, yeah, you guys, if you haven't yet, go ahead and click long rest in your character sheet. Make sure you are rested up from your last encounter.
Gladly.
And the next morning comes, and you guys head on out the rest of your journey. The rest of the journey is very calm and peaceful. That ethereal pressure is still kind of nagging, but you know, you're talking about a week's journey of straight travel. You do eventually get used to it, but the relief when it finally goes away, as you are close to approaching Selenia Keep. As you get closer, you notice that Kargdai actually looks a little bit nervous upon entering the city. And you guys are approached at the city gates. And let me pull you here. Oh, that's right. I still have to do this manually. Ugh.
F.
There should just be a poll.
The game's
everyone
also
to
paused.
see. Oh, you're right.
I'm stuck at 90%.
Me
Same.
too.
Same.
Poll team.
We got a lot of purple tonight.
Oh, I ran out of laundry, so K-State it is.
Happens.
Yep.
Not seriously.
I feel
It's
kind
like
of
one of
bad
them-
for that, but
I know.
I just don't wear purple anymore. I don't know. It's like gray or die.
Mood.
I always choose
But yes, here is the. Are you still loading? If you are.
No, I'm in.
Okay,
I'm
great.
in.
Just like-
I'm in.
You should
I'm in.
see a map of the city of Selenia.
Damn, she fancy.
With you.
And you are stopped at the opening gates, or at the front gates. And there are two guards, and say, halt! What business do you have here?
I'm gonna go ahead and walk up to him and say, Sir Bolivar Rin from the Blades of Radiance told us to escort this prisoner here to Selenia Keep.
And they look and they go, oh, okay, sounds good. And they let you in. They obviously recognize the name Bolivar, and they're not about to get on his bad side. And yeah, so you go ahead and you are now in the city of Selenia. Compared to the city of Otlumel, this is a massive city. It's surrounded on all sides by huge stone walls that are constantly patrolled. The general market, which is number 5 on the map, the Farmer Square, is filled with people. It is a bustling city, as much as a fantasy town can be. And everybody kind of eyes you as you pass, but they are not exactly... They're more interested. They're not, like, scared or frightened in any way. They're just more like, oh, something new, as you guys are pulling through. And you guys get to cross through the Rye Bridge as you go through. And the Temple of the Blades is actually a little bit behind the city gates on the other side, but it's easier to go through town to cross the river. And so you guys pull through, and to the entrance of the Blades of Radiance, and you are greeted by Bolivar himself. And he says, "Ah, it's so good to see you all. Timely as always. Tell me, how was your journey here?"
Long.
Interesting to say the least, at least at the start, but after that, nothing to mention.
We did have an interesting encounter in a cave.
A cave?
Anya, would you care to explain?
My companion, Oliver, decided to join the campaign, and upon entrance into the group, decided to run away. As much as I did not think that he was in any dire straits, the group decided to go investigate and found a system of caves and tunnels where we battled an undead beholder.
And he just like stops. Like you can see like him, he's like following, and then once you say that, he just stops. And he's like, "Pray tell, where might these caves have been?" You guys might not know, but it's in the mountain pass that you went in the center that you went through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you show him, and he goes, "This is a little bit troubling, honestly. But let us not think too much on that. We'll investigate that later. We have other matters at hand first." And he peeks into the caravan. He goes, prisoner. And he says something to the two elves, and they start to escort him away into the blades. But he stops one of them and says, "No, you, stay here." And he pulls Lucico in with the group.
So,
Hey.
seamless transition.
You haven't missed much.
No, we just made it into town.
Oh, yeah, okay. Thank you. Sorry for the delay. Thank
You're
you
all
for your
good.
patience.
We'll get your level up and stuff here in a second, and make sure you have your stats that exist.
Yeah.
Do you need me to share my screen again?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Thank you, comrade.
and he says, Bolivar says, "You all did great work. Thank you for doing this. I know this was, for most of you, probably out of your way. But the city of Selenia has great things to offer. Please, go and enjoy yourselves. Please come back to the Temple of the Blades sometime tonight. I want you to be present for his questioning."
Sounds like a plan.
And he looks over at Althor, and he says, "Althor, I actually would like you to come with me first."
Did
As
he
you
pay
wish.
us?
He will not, but the council, the Blades will.
Okay.
Thank you, Nicole.
Did he? Where's my money, bitch?
Yeah.
I may be a cleric, but money is money.
Yeah.
I'm a money.
Who's gonna buy this bread?
Yeah.
Definitely not Oliver.
Jesus.
Yeah. And
See, I'll
yeah.
follow.
And the rest of you, you actually are allowed to basically roam around the town as you see fit. The things on the left side are real places that you can visit if you would like. If you have nothing, just let me know, and then Althor will get to your thing here in a second.
Yeah, no problem.
What's the square
Edwin,
jaw? Oh, sorry.
Travelers Guild.
Yeah, so let me give you a quick breakdown on each thing. So the outside inn is just the name of the inn on the outside of town. The outside inn.
uh,
I love it.
I wish I could take credit, but this is not mine. The West Gate is obviously the West Gate. The Broken Axe is the blacksmith. The Town Hall, Farmer Square. The Travelers Guild is more like a... you know when you're driving on like an interstate and you get to those rest stops that have like all the information about the area? That's the Travelers Guild kind of thing. It'll tell you about information in the area. The warehouse is just a general store. Villas are just people's homes. The square jaw is a kind of like fighting ring.
Ooh.
The Temple of Pecunia is just a generic temple. Pecunia is an old priestess that actually started it. Mayor's House, obvious. Fisher's Row. Where's that one? Fisher's Row is just like a series of homes for the fishermen in the area, and then Fisherman's Hall is almost like a country club for fishermen. So you got some options there if there are anything in particular that piques your interest.
Edwin's gonna go to the Farmer Square and just walk around and look at everything.
Okay.
I'll go through.
Okay. Callum and Anya and Lucico, do you have anything in mind? We can kind of do this in sections.
Yes, possibly going for me to the travelers area to find out more about the area itself.
Okay.
I got him.
Great.
I think I'm gonna go to the temple just to
Mhm.
check it out.
Okay.
I am going to go, since I am familiar with the area, I'm one of these guys. I'll be in Masculine Faces, and I'm going to go check out a store that I think is going to be right around here.
Okay, great. So we're gonna start off with our folks in the Farmer's Square. So that's Edwin and Rysar. So in the Farmer's Square, since you've come back, some of the people are like, "Oh, okay, they're gonna be here," and they kind of just go about their business. It's there's a lot of little shops, mostly freshly grown produce and meat. A couple not necessarily trinkets, but like weaved baskets and bags. Some normal townspeople clothing. Nothing like high end, but nothing like for adventurers. But yeah, it's very busy. It's bustling. Lots of transactions going on. Is there anything in particular you guys are looking for in this group of people?
Lesson.
That's what I was about to say. I'm not looking for anything in particular. I'm just kind of observing right now.
Okay.
Yeah, me too. I'm just walking around. I might kind of stick close to like the food and stuff and just kind of check it out. And
Okay.
see how well it was grown.
Yeah. So you actually approach one of the stands as you're kind of taking your walk around, and one of the farmers looks at you and goes, "Well, we don't see many of your kind around these parts. What can I get for you, sir?"
Just taking a look, I've had family who were in agriculture, so I have an appreciation for the art.
A
growing.
farmer's boy, I see. So you can sense good produce when you see it.
I can indeed. And
Did
it
you do
looks
any
like
of the
got some
farming
good-
yourself, or just your parents did it?
I did a little bit of help, but and then Edwin kind of looks down at his one arm and is like, I can only do a limited amount of things to help.
And he notices the arm, and he gets embarrassed that he was staring at it.
It's okay. It's okay.
Well, if you find anything that you like, please let me know, sir.
I will for sure do that.
Rysar, so what exactly are you doing here? Are you hanging out by the fountain? Are you just walking around? Are you looking for...
I'm just kind of by the fountain right now. I'm trying to catch my bearings. Sorry.
Okay. Rysar, make me a perception check.
Oh god, okay. That's it for my character sheet, right?
Yep.
There we go. Normal?
Yep.
Huh.
Okay. The people are kind of moving in and out, but you thought for a second that you saw somebody you knew. But when you went to go take a double take, they were gone.
Okay. That was weird.
Let's move to Anya. So, Anya, you make your way to the Temple of Pesunia, and you are greeted very warmly at the front gates. There's a couple priests and priestesses just kind of maintaining things. There's a couple of leftover kind of ritual materials that have been left at a couple of the stations around. But then the one at the door greets you and says, "Ah, welcome, miss. Is there anything we can help you with, or are you just here to perform your dailies?"
Here to perform my dailies. I don't know what that is.
Just like daily, like prayer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Not like MMO dailies.
No, I was freaking out.
I said it and was like, "That's not what I meant."
Right now.
But no, like your daily prayer, and those kinds of things, or, they're assuming that that's what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And say, well, if you need any materials for your prayer, please don't hesitate to ask. We are in an all worship building here.
An all faith chapel, you
I
would say.
distinctly avoided the phrase
Right.
all face.
Boo! Boo!
Downvote.
Anyway,
It's in every
For-
beliefs chapel, actually. Or every beliefs
beliefs.
church. There we go. Every beliefs church.
Might as
you
well
for
just
the
call it
use of
all
your
things worth. It's fine.
I just say back to the man, thank you for the use of your space, and I take off my pack and set Oliver down in front of me, and
Yeah.
I stare at the cat.
So Oliver, so you've got these little ritual prayer kind of stations, and they've got like a pedestal in front with a like a bowl in front of it for a place for like burning small offerings or whatever, depending on the deity, especially some of the druidic ones. But Oliver actually kind of curls up next to the pedestal and falls asleep. But as you are... I just watched my screen zoom in on
I did the
Cal.
same thing.
No, to the side of the pedestal, and as you're looking at Oliver, your vision for just a second kind of goes white, and you hear that familiar voice, and it says, "Anya, you are doing well on your quest. I encourage you to trust in your newfound friends. You're doing very, very well. Oliver will keep you on the right path." And then your vision comes back, and Oliver is awake, kind of, the cat doing that thing, like stretching on your leg, and you are back awake.
I feel like I'm just gonna meditate for a second.
Great. Callum.
Yeah, so I am going to kind of, in my disguised self form,
Mhm.
I'm going to kind of walk past the sable raven.
Mm-hmm.
And is it busy, or is this like what would it kind of be at this time of day?
At this time of day, this particular shop is not as busy. There's a couple people kind of filtering in and out, but it seems the majority of the business right now is in the Farmer's Square.
Okay, I'm not going to go in then. I'm just going to kind of make a check to make sure that everything's okay. Nothing's out of place. I then want to kind of meander over to a workshop that I'm familiar with, and see if it's abandoned, if it looks like there's been any activity recently, or what's kind of going on.
Yeah. So the go ahead and roll me an investigation.
Okay, let's see. Where's my stuff? Investigation. Ooh, +5. Oh, 14 total.
Okay. As you approach this familiar warehouse, it looks like it's been relatively abandoned for a while. Doesn't really appear that anyone has... there hasn't looked like there's been any intention to do something with this space at this time. Looks completely undisturbed.
I'll end up meandering probably over to the temple where Anya's at and do some praying, and that'll be it.
Yep. All right. Lucico. So you wander your way into the Travelers Guild, and you find there's a couple of humans just kind of filing paperwork. There's a job postings board and some other general information just kind of posted around. And as you walk in, one of them perks up and goes, "Oh, hello there, sir. I'm sorry we don't have any jobs right now, but is there anything else we can maybe do for you? You look like a seasoned adventurer, traveler."
I was curious as to if you have any very ancient buildings or ancient sites within this town.
Very peculiar question. We do have some older buildings, but Selenia Keep has only been up. Selenia Keep's been up a while, but most of the buildings here have been renovated or are currently in use, and in that kind of way. Does that kind of answer your question, sir?
Yes, it does. Thank you for your time. And I'll join the rest of our crew, it looks like, in the town square then.
Yeah, that's where most of them are at. Great. Lucico. Sorry, not Lucico. Althor. You follow Master Bolivar into the Blades of Radiance building. And you are once again kind of filled with this, that kind of rejuvenated feeling of returning home. And you feel kind of accomplished in a way to be back at this time. And Master Bolivar turns to you and goes, "Althor, how did you feel on this mission? Now, I know some of it kind of went out of expectation, but tell me how it was for you."
Oh, concerning. There's something I didn't mention in front of the rest of the group was I had a vision while we were in the cave. And it was a vision of what appeared to be two elves prancing or dancing or running through a field. What appeared to be an elf of darker complexion, perhaps a drow, and one of a lighter complexion. And then after that, I saw perhaps my final ceremony before I became a full member of this organization. And then it ended abruptly.
But Bolivar kind of looks at you with its kind of stern expression, and he goes, "It's awful concerning, just like you said. But that's what happens when you become an adventurer. We're dealing with something that even we don't fully understand. We sent you on a mission that we had no idea how this would turn out. The first vision is definitely concerning. I'm gonna have to look into more information on that. However, the second vision makes sense. But anyway, but more what I meant. How did it feel to actually go out on your own and do some adventuring?"
It felt like a relief to know that all of the years of training I had put in, I was able to use and rely on my instincts and be successful.
Yep. And just at that moment, as you're having this conversation with Bolivar, you see an elven man approach you. And he goes, "Haha! Hey, Althor, good to see you back here." And Master Bolivar turns and he goes, "Oh, Rathos, now is not the time."
And then, in a complete change of character almost, because Althor is pretty composed most of the time,
Mm-hmm.
he kind of says in a braggadocious way, "Well, Rathos, I was out, adventuring."
"Oh, Althor, of course we know you were adventuring. I'm Mr. Althor." Look, just because not all of us have gotten our adventuring break yet does not make you better than us. Don't forget that. Now,
I'll keep that in mind, Rathos, but Master Bolivar and I are having an important conversation here.
And Rathos looks over, and Bolivar has this very stern face on, and he goes, yes, well, I will get back to my training like a good student. And he saunters off, to go do some training.
Whatever that fucker does.
Bolivar just kind of rubs his brow, and he goes, well, anyway, I actually need you to speak in front of the council.
You think I'm ready for that?
I think so.
And what do you need me to speak on?
Your adventure. I will leave
Do
it.
you want my
Go ahead.
companions to come with me?
And he goes for a second. He's like, yes, I think your companions would be well deserving and might be of benefit to be a part of this conversation.
And I nod in agreement.
So at this time, if you would like to, oh, bye, Eric.
No.
No.
Hey, I don't want to talk to that no council.
Public speaking, not my fantasy world.
Uh-huh.
So, Althor, if you would like to head back and kind of gather up your compatriots.
Sure.
As you come back into town, you find that everybody's pretty well gathered up in the farmer's square. I assume Callum and Anya, after you're done kind of with your praying, that you would find your way back. And yeah, you guys see Althor coming into the farmer's square to meet up with you guys.
The leaders of my organization want us to basically go and tell them what we experienced down in Otlumel. It's quite troubling to them. Would you all be willing to do so with me?
Yes.
Feels like
What?
being pulled into the principal's office, but I don't think we have much of a choice.
Well, Callum, if you'd like to stand behind Edwin, I'm sure that'd be okay.
Sounds good to
His
me.
shell can hide you.
As it
That
should
gives
be.
me an idea for the
Maybe that as well.
I say yes and say I too have been troubled with what we found.
The more I talk to people, the more I feel like what we found was not what we were supposed to find.
So, you guys make your way up to the Blades of Radiance temple building, and the rest of you have not seen this before. Except for Callum, do you think you would have made your way by this building maybe once or twice in your youth?
I've probably seen it. I probably wouldn't have interacted with it much, but I figure he's probably fairly well traveled within Selena Keep.
So as you approach into the Blades of Radiance building, it's very plainly decorated. Only a couple banners of the Blades of Radiance sort of symbols. Some sconces, maybe a weapon that participated in some great battle. But otherwise, it's very plainly decorated. And you approach in, you see Master Bolivar kind of waiting. And he says, thank you for joining on this expedition. I know you all probably had things you were hoping to get done, but trust me when I say that it's very helpful and important for us. He says, there's no pressure here. It's simply, we just kind of want to know what went on in your adventures in Otlumel. And okay. And he says, we just need you to come meet with the council. So it's just right up here. And do not worry. You are friends here.
Sounded awfully convincing.
And then I specifically look at Rysar and I say, respectful friend.
Wrecked.
So, you guys make your way up to this the council building, and you are approached. It's similar to the sort of rotunda in Otlumel, but it's less intimidating. There's just a U-shaped table with 7 people sitting around it. And there is a bronze dragonborn. And all of these characters have very notable armor and weapons attached. There's a bronze dragonborn, a half-elf, a wood elf, a gnome, a half-orc, a human, and a lunar elf. All circled around this U-shaped table. And the Dragonborn says, it's the young Althor and his compatriots. Come on in, do not be shy.
And I'm gonna walk in and do a quick little bow,
Mhm.
like a little respectful sort of thing.
Yeah. And one of the others, the half-elf woman goes, "Please, Puck, there is no reason to be so loud. We do not want to scare off our new guests." And the wood elf says, "I agree with Roma here. We should not be here to intimidate. We are simply here to hear their story."
Who was that?
Puck was the Dragonborn.
Okay.
Roma was the half-elf, and the wood elf has not been introduced yet.
That's right.
As you come in, Puck goes, I was just giving them a hearty greeting. They look like they've seen their fair share of adventure, and they should get a proper greeting as such. And he goes, Logor gets what I'm saying, and you see the half-orc go, "Yes, exactly. They are well deserving. They are our friends here." And you hear Bolivar come in. He says, "Just settle down. Let's just, let them come in, kind of tell us what's been going on." Mr. Young Althor, if you would please kind of start things off here. What exactly happened on the initial mission in Otlumel?
Well, as you know, I was supposed to go down there with Master Bolivar, but I was sent by myself, and once I arrived, I was resting in a local tavern when I met this group of adventurers who I can call some of them friends, probably, maybe all of them. I don't know how they feel about me, but and we decided to investigate the destruction of the cathedral, and we found a bandit camp that had a leader who had some sort of magical item that figured out to destroy the cathedral. And we fought him, and he lost that battle against us, but his magical item disappeared.
And you see the gnome man kind of perk up, and he goes, "Well, wait a second. By the way, the name is Quizzle for those new to the area."
Is this the wood elf?
No, the gnome.
Oh, okay.
He says, "You saying that this bracer had the power to burn an entire cathedral on its with one person, and upon defeat it simply vanished?"
And I look towards Edwin, and at this point, I think Rysar's a magic user because he produces a lot of flames. And I'm looking at them for affirmation, sort of like, is that correct? Am I interpreting that right?
Edwin kind of just shakes his head in affirmation.
And one of the lunar elf kind of chimes up, and he goes, "And what might your name be, sir?"
My name is Edwin.
"Nice to meet you. My name is Sulfrin." And you are well versed in magical arts, I take it?
I am indeed. I was trained from a young age to be a magical practitioner, and I have a lot of experience in the arcane.
Fantastic. And the human woman goes, well, what about the rest of you? Was there anything else to add to that story that we should be aware of? And what is the, the wood elf chimes back up and he goes, come on, Para, just ask the question you're wanting to ask. And Para goes, okay. The card guy, where does he get involved here?
I think our elven friend Anya should take this one.
We believed him to be someone who had information on the disappearance of these relics. Or not relics, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. And Quizzle chimes in. He goes, well, in what ways did you suspect him? From what we understand, he was, well, from what he says, he was just simply playing cards when you approached him.
He has more information than he's leading on. For example, during the, I wouldn't say interrogation, but the courtroom scene with him, he refused to give up who he's working for. I'm missing the details because I forgot to write that portion of the campaign down.
That's okay. That's exactly
Okay.
what happened. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, from my assumption skills, though they are assumption, I believe he does have a part in everything that's been happening, or at least could lead us to discover why events are in motion.
Well, I'd say based on that deduction that is a fair assessment. Very astute, Miss Danya.
Knew there was something about him.
uh,
I don't say that out loud, by the way.
yeah.
Score!
And what of the second relic, the one that happened to show up after the first one?
Well, it was a coin that was cursed to steal the souls of people and take them to another plane. And the owner of this coin was a drow elf, and through some handiwork by Rysar here and Callum and a little bit of Edwin, we were able to get there and defeat the person who was holding these souls prisoner.
Any other qualifying information for this from you all? Great. Well, that seems to coincide with the accounts we have. Now, Althor, if you would please leave us a second. I would like to speak to the rest of your group alone.
And I bow and walk out.
Bolivar actually walks out with you. And the Roma comes in and actually gets up out of her seat and then walks in front of you all and says, I must apologize for impeding you for this, but we have one more question we would like to ask all of you. And I need you to be incredibly honest with us. In your travels, that you have had thus far, has Althor been a trustworthy companion?
Not
He's
one
done well
to
on that.
trust. Go ahead,
Go
Jaden.
No, you are.
I was gonna
You
say,
go.
I am one to not trust easily, and I would say I trust Althor.
Agreed.
He's
Althor
done
has
well
proven to
above
be
what would be asked. Sorry.
Althor has proven to be very trustworthy, and very reliable.
I would agree with this as well. He's proven himself well in combat and defending us.
Who are you? I'm kidding.
You don't even go here.
I'm kidding, Eric. I'm sorry.
Eric,
I'm gonna go read.
Roma sits back down, and Logor, the half-orc, stands back up, and he approaches you all and goes, "Did Althor show strength and courage when you fought against your adversaries?"
He has. He's faced everything unflinchingly that has been thrown at us.
Great. Logor goes to sit down, and Puck scoots his chair back, and he actually goes out to open the door, and he says, "Althor? Oh, Althor, would you please come back in?"
And I'll enter the room again, yeah.
And he actually guides you to, like, the center of the room. And Puck looks over at Bolivar and says, "Bolivar, I think it best you do the honors." And Bolivar asks the rest of you to kind of move to the sides of the room. And Bolivar approaches Althor and says, "Althor, please kneel."
I'll do that, yeah.
And he,
Wait, what? You don't have actually said that.
Yeah, I'll do that.
I'll do that.
yeah. And Bolivar sets his blade on the ground in front of you, and he says, "Master, young Althor, upon your completion of the task that was given to you, and much more with the task of the coin in saving of Otlumel, and the slaying of the undead beholder while on a convoy, based on the accounts given to you by your comrades, we are offering you the rank of full member of the Blades of Radiance."
Say that I'd be honored to accept it.
He says, "We will talk further about your ceremony here in a moment. But first, we do have some other business to take care of." They say, "Bring in the prisoner." And Card Guy comes in shackled. And these shackles are pulsing with red energy. As he is brought into the courtroom. Second. There we go. Alright. Card Guy is brought in once again. And he, after being brought into the center of the room, Roma, Fiorna, and Sulfrin set up in 3 points within the room, and they ask you all to stand back to the edges of the wall. And
Do that, yeah.
they all, yeah, I do that. You see them all start to kind of wave their arms around and mutter under their breath as this kind of white energy crackles between their fingers. And they all strike a certain into the floor, and you see this etching appear around Card Guy. And the symbol is the Zone of Truth that you recall from the first time Card Guy was on trial. Except this one is strangely more potent than the first time.
Cute.
And they say... Bolivar says, We have our own questions to ask of this gentleman, but should anything arise that you have questions on, this would be a great time to ask them. And they look at Card Guy and they say, now that we have you here, tell us, what is your name? And he starts to kind of shudder, and he goes, Cart! My name is, Kaladin Farth.
You're gonna say Card Guy?
He was trying. And you can see him, like, not quite, it's almost pain. Like, he's, like, writhing in pain, as this comes up. My name is Kaladin Farth. They ask him, what were you doing in Otlumel? Gathering information from my employer. This one seems to hurt a lot less. Bolivar asks again, who is your employer? And he, like, viscerally fights. You can, like, see him, like, writhing and shaking his head as the shackles around him hang tight. And it's, like, through absolute gritted teeth, he goes, I work as an info broker for the New Creations Guild. All of you can make a history check if you would like, at this point.
I'll do
How do I-
that.
It is a skill in your character sheet.
Okay.
You said history?
Yes.
I got a dirty 20.
Okay. Oh.
Ouch.
All right.
Oh gosh.
Anya, you have heard of this before. However, that is as far as that information goes. You know, hey, now is not the time.
But it's okay.
Itty.
He goes, I work for the New Creations Guild. And all of the Council of Seven seem pretty shocked to hear this.
Did I get anything with my dirty 20?
Oh, sorry, yes, the Dirty 20. You have heard of this and know that, in history, this guild has, per history, this guild had fizzled out about 300 years ago. Sorry, there it is. Bolivar asks, what is your goal in the New Creations Guild? And he's fighting and fighting, and the shackles grow ever tighter. You actually notice that the shackles actually are getting smaller around his wrists as these continue on. And Bolivar says, I would not struggle. It will only make things worse. And he goes, I'm sent to keep a close eye on the artifacts in this world. That's why I was in Otlumel.
Do you know where they're coming from? How they're created?
Just no one truly does. They're created through the ether that spills into this world. Sometimes they just happen. Sometimes people take the energy and use it.
Do you know of these people who've been taking it and using it? Do you have names?
No. We only use codes. Code names.
Do you know where we could find them?
No. I get my orders via dead drops.
Does your organization have any use for these artifacts?
Use? No. We're here to monitor them. And make sure that they are being used.
But they are being used?
Yes.
What happens if they're not being used?
We don't want power lying dormant, do we? Power exists to be used.
I'm gonna ask where his next dead drop is.
He says, I've not been given that info yet, as my position has been compromised.
How do you get this info? How do you find out where the next dead drop is?
He's like really fighting back at this one. He's gritting his teeth. He goes, I get visions. They're sent to me via visions. Tells me where to go. I was in Otlumel for a week, monitoring those artifacts before you showed up.
Who sends these visions?
He doesn't answer.
Are the visions from this plane?
No idea.
Are you work? Do you have a ties to Valar Sarancenia?
Yes. The New Creations Guild. And he, like, shudders. He's like, almost like he remembers he's not supposed to say this. No. No. You can't make me. And you can actually see the mage's, like, spells get, like, more intense as this goes. And he's fighting as you can't make both gods combined reset the world. And he passes out. And the three mages, their energy dissipates, and they are exhausted. Bolivar and the whole council at this moment are completely awestruck with the information being presented. Bolivar, breaking the silence, says, guards, come in here and lock him up. Make sure those shackles stay on. And you make sure you have constant surveillance on him. And so that these guards come in, and they almost drag him, like they lift him up and his body slumps over onto one of the guards. And they are dragging him to a cell, a holding area within the temple.
Remake the world.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, remake the world. It's like we're all in a lot deeper than we thought.
Bolivar looks at you all and goes, well, that was certainly more uncomfortable than I was expecting.
No, I'm not one to say anything nice of Card Guy, but is he safe after giving us divulging this information to us?
He will be fine. The Zone of Truce can be particularly difficult when you are forced to speak on information you otherwise were also forced to not relinquish. Essentially, he had two forces in his mind. One telling him not to do it, and another making him do it. So, the effect can turn into mental exhaustion and mental pain.
Are we safe? Did we just place a target on this town by bringing this information to light? Because obviously, whoever he works for is powerful.
Unfortunately, I mean, we were always a target based on what we've been doing. But this is information we needed. Question, and this is this is Quizzle. Is that his name?
The gnome?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just closed my document because I'm dumb.
In there.
Yeah, I have like 4 different documents open right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Quizzle goes. Well, wait a minute. Wait, do any of you know about the New Creations Guild?
Only heard of it vaguely.
I thought it was supposed to have disappeared 300 years ago.
So some of you are versed in this. The New Creations Guild is a cult that thought that the reset of the world was caused by the 2 gods in tandem, as opposed to opposing forces. So the new Creations Guild is hoping to combine the powers of Valen and Cercinia and remake the world in their own image.
How would they be able to harness these powers? That they're dead. The gods are dead, aren't they?
As we assume. But we also assume that this cult was dead 300 years ago.
Maybe the gods are just sleeping, or they have a plan to resurrect them.
Or maybe they want new people to mantle those positions. It's been done before.
Sulfrin gets up at this point. This is the lunar elf. And goes, well, wait. It has happened. Many of the deities we associate with rose to power through mortality and rising above. It's not unlikely.
I had a vision after we fought the Beholders of a high elf woman and a drow man playing in the field. I don't know if it was possibly the gods, the original gods before they rose to power, or maybe the cultists are bringing two new people to mantle those powers to bring about their will.
Certainly a disturbing idea, but not totally unlikely. I suggest we think on this and get some rest for the night. You all have had long travels, and this is not information that's easy for anybody to bear. He says, Althor, you are free to use your room as you see fit. He calls over some of the other Blades members and says, procure rooms for everybody here. These are our guests, and they must be well treated. And you all start to get your things, and you each have individual rooms for the evening. But it's set up in kind of a not quite like military barracks style, because they are nice rooms. But you kind of have like almost college dorm style, where there's like a series of rooms, but there's like a communal area to talk.
Can I
I'm
get
gonna
a
go
drink
to the
there?
Yes.
yeah. I was gonna go to the communal area.
Yeah.
Yeah, me
You
too.
too.
Yeah. I am switch the stuff up again. Yeah, so you guys are all grouped up in the communal area. They have food and drink for you. It's very well prepared. It's nothing extravagant, but it is good food.
Well, that was a lot to take in.
It seems like aren't going to be parting ways as fast as we maybe previously thought. Sounds like we'll be working with each other for a while now. At least that's my intention.
You want to leave instead of finding perhaps more artifacts?
No, I'm saying I think
Oh,
that
shit.
I'm thinking that maybe we should work together more. I had originally
Oh, shit.
thought to go seek out more artifacts, but it sounds like there might be bigger plans in store for all of us.
I know this path ahead of me is where I will be going, so if you guys would like to follow as well, I would be happy for this.
It seems that there's a big threat brewing against this world, and I think we would be best equipped together rather than separately.
Yes. Agree.
Though
I
it
will-
does lighten my heart that I was right about Card Guy.
I will learn to trust you more. Your intuition was superb.
Thank you.
Bird.
And I look over at Lucico and I ask, are you okay with doing this? We know you just met us very recently.
I believe it's in my best interest to help stop whatever's at work with this cult. But yes, I would need to work with you to accomplish this goal.
Great.
Great. So at this point, we're gonna do our mid-session pause. Because I gotta go take a piss.